So we're going to take a look at an entire series on just data structures and algorithms. We're going to start off with the basics. For example, like what is a variable, if else, things like that. So let's go ahead and create a new project. You can go here or you can go to File, New, Project. Select Visual C++. I'm going to expand this out. You can go to Win32, select Console Application. I'm going to name my first one Variables. And really I might just keep updating this. And I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. When you have your application wizard open, click Next. I'm just going to select Empty Project for now so that we can sort of look at what a clean project looks like and then hit Finish. Once you create an empty project, you'll notice there's nothing inside any of these folders. The reason is we want to create these on our own. So right-click on Source Files, go to Add, and just type in New Item. We want a CPP file. You can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to name it Play, because we're just going to be playing with some code. I'm going to hit Add. This gives us a blank file. So let's just look at a very basic program. So I'm going to type in hashmark here, include, and I want to include a predetermined library. So I'm going to include IOStream. And what this is IOStream is a library that that you can do print output to the console and receive input. And let's make sure we name that right. So IOStream. And then we also, we're going to talk about namespaces later, but really it's just a way of naming our application for use later. And then we're going to look at our first function, which is called main. What's nice about main is as our application launches, it looks to main first. And whatever is inside of main, it'll actually build or run. So for example, let's press enter here. Let's start looking at one of the elements that are located within IOStream, and that's console output. So we put 2 arrows to the left, and I type in hello world. This is very generic, I know. And then I'm going to end the line here, so that in our input, we have hello world printed the string, then end line. Now something we're going to talk about more in detail is how to create our own functions and things like that, but notice that this says integer here, main. That's what int stands for. We have to return something, so I'm just going to type in return 0 and semicolon, and then I'm going to hold Control and hit F5, and I'm going to hit yes. And what you'll see is it builds out to the screen a very simple hello application, and because we have end line there, our press any key to continue launched after that. There's a couple other ways. You notice Control Shift B build solution, all this other stuff. You can hit the arrow here to debug it. Just for now, learn that Control F5. The next thing I want to talk about is a variable. So variables are temporary storage places. Think about a cup. And say you only want certain things to be stored inside of a cup. So for example, we talked about integers already. So let's say we talk about integer num1 equals 0. What's currently happening is num1 currently equals 0. If we want to reuse this variable, we can type in num1 equals 2. If I grab my console output statement here, and I just copy it, and I paste num1 here instead of hello world, and then I paste it again here, or type it out. I'm going to save that and hit Control F5. What you'll notice from our output is num1 equals 0. Remember I said this is a temporary storage place. And then here, num1 equals 2, and then it printed that out there. And then we returned nothing, so it ended our main statement. But notice that I didn't have to call this function, or I didn't have to execute it in any specific way. It just ran automatically when I built my program. And that was the power behind main. So in the next video, we'll move on to something else. We're not going to go into all of the different data types like floats or different ways of holding things. Because as you begin to build your programming skills, for example, in Unreal or Unity, there's ways of storing references to game objects and things like that. And that'll just build as you continue on.